Hello all, it's Anne here and welcome to this live. And in this live, I have some news for you, the caffeine quitters, all the caffeine addicts out there. I'm gonna just share all my symptoms during this time that I went through my caffeine withdrawals and post-acute withdrawal symptoms. So now I'm like 4 years and this month it will be 4 years and 4 months. April 18th was my quitting day, so now in this day specifically it's been like 4 years, 3 months, but I wanted to do this video where I just list all my symptoms in this whole time, because you know many of you are in the different time zones, and the more you always ask me the same question about the symptoms, so I just thought that I'm gonna just list now these all symptoms what I had, and I will show it to you so you can check if you are dealing with the same stuff. So this will be the reassurance that you will get through this, and some of us this is a long journey, some of us the post-acute withdrawal just takes time before they go. And like I said, I'm not 100, but I'm pretty much like 90%. So what I still have left is some tiredness, but I don't feel anxious anymore. And thank God for that. I'm so grateful for that. So we're gonna just check out the symptoms in this live. And if you are new to my channel is support channel for all the caffeine quitters and all the other drug addicts also. If you want to, you are all welcome in my channel. Everybody is welcome. Benzo quitters also, you are very much welcome. I know this information can probably help you too, because the symptoms what benzo people also are suffering can be pretty much the same what comes to anxiety and nervous system rewiring and brain rewiring. So welcome, and also you are warmly welcome to join the chat too if you have any questions. So let's start this thing. When I get this thing to work, wait a second, I have to just set a few settings here. Anxiety, okay, yes, it sound is working, that's the good sign. And then here and here. Okay, so and this list is just remember, these are my symptoms. So if you don't have the same anxiety symptoms, because anxiety can cause all kind of symptoms, and if you have some of these, it's normal. If you don't have all of these, it's normal too. Like, it can vary how we deal with anxiety. Also, like I have been saying, the length of recovery can be different. Some people don't have post-acute withdrawals, which like it just is. Like, some people do have them, some people don't have them, and there can be like some facts and things that affects like how much you have been using, the length of the use, then some like genetic and epigenetic stuff can be affecting, but we don't have to speculate those. Just know that if you are going through these symptoms, time will heal you, and to stay away from all the mind-altering drugs. And I don't recommend also supplements. Like, my advices are just simple. Like, you know already, if you are watching this channel, you know that my advices are just eat food, drink water, move when you can, and just try to avoid stress if you can. I know it can be really, really hard journey, so please don't judge yourself. Whatever you are going through and whatever you have to do, please don't judge yourself. There is so much judging and so much that other people can say. I just want to say that for here in my channel, I just want to be supportive for everyone, whatever you are going through. I don't, that judging, it doesn't do good for anyone. So let's try to be always kind and understanding, because we cannot know what other people are going through necessarily. Okay, so let's start. So my caffeine withdrawal symptoms and post-acute withdrawal symptoms, which comes for word PAWS. So PAWS are not just like the puppies with these paws. PAWS are actually what comes to post-acute withdrawals, which is when the brain does the rewiring and your body does the rewiring after a drug abuse. So it is healing, in short, healing. So migraines, headaches. I had severe headaches. I had blurry vision, eye itching, I had bad vision. I have facial pain. I have feeling like your head is heavy or full. Remember, these are my own words describing, because sometimes you can have symptoms in this journey that you cannot really even describe, like just weird feeling inside your head that your brain is doing something, and you just feel that your brain is doing something and you cannot necessarily to focus what you would need to focus in that time, like for your work or if you try to study. For me, I was just think that I was injured permanently. I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't have any kind of like, this kind of support. And then I was just like counting on the benzo support sites, and I was getting the information from there, of course, because there is not so much information about PAWS after caffeine. Even it does happen a lot. It does happen a lot. That's I have to always come really strongly, because people really have to know and have to have this information. So yes, and all kind of brain fog, brain zaps. Brain fog was really heavy. It was like on and off all the journey. Like even around 4 years, I noticed that I don't have any more brain fog at all. Around 4 years. So it can really take time. But before that, of course, I have periods when it's lifted. I have periods I will have by windows when the symptoms did lifted, and I felt more like clear. And of course, I thought many times like, okay, now maybe I'm done. And then I get like more waves, what did come to my own healing. So it was really ups and downs for me, really, really much ups and downs, but I never felt normal completely. I always dealt with something and always some kind of pains, and my shoulders was always like this, and it was just uncomfortable with anxiety. Difficult to find in words. Some of these symptoms I don't even like. I'm glad that I have made notes, because it was really hard in the beginning. It really was like even making videos was impossible, not possible for me in the beginning. I was in the shock, like, and you have to remember that my symptoms really didn't kick in until about after 2 weeks I did quit caffeine. So some symptoms did kick in, but the really, really heavy anxiety, it took a few weeks before it really kicked in. So yes, feeling like your brain is stuck or overactive. I felt that a lot. In the beginning, I don't have so much, this is a long time, so you have to remember that I don't remember all those things that happened to me in the first year. So these are my notes. But I do remember that when I was like lying in the bed, just like terrified, I remember that my brain felt so stuck, and I had so much like stuck thoughts, like intrusive thoughts that I didn't understand. Then by the way, then I didn't still like yet understand what was happening, because it took me a little bit time before I started to found other people and quitting caffeine Facebook group and the Kato's videos and all that before I started to like know what was going on. So lack of concentration is very, very like common in this. Many people do experience that, and that is completely normal in this. So if you have difficulty to concentrate while you are healing, and difficult to like, concentrate to reading, studying, using your brain, all the normal stuff that we were able to do maybe before this happened, because many of us, even we did deal anxiety and intrusive thoughts and maybe some stuff while we were on caffeine. We were still able to function in normal life, and by that I mean that we were able to work, we were able to work out, we were so-called functional addicts, we were able to still do all the like duties that we did have, like we seem to be like the normal human being. Like that's why this is so hard to many people when we have to go through this, because like I always say that there was life before me, before this happened, like what comes to living like normal life, like going to the doing workouts and working and do the daily stuff, interacting with people, and then bam, it happened, and that's how many people they start to describe these post-acute withdrawals. Those people who did and does end up this, and many times it also happens because of cold turkey for many people. So that's why I don't recommend cold turkey, especially if you have been using a lot of caffeine or any other with benzos. I don't recommend ever cold turkey, but just always, you have to take care of yourself. So for many people, this heavy anxiety comes after cold turkeying. But there are also people who have been tapering and they still have the post-acute withdrawal. So it depends on the person. So yeah, so where was I? So yes, mashed potato head feeling was like very, very often what I have, just feeling like, lightheaded, foggy, just never normal. And memory problems. In the beginning, those were really, really heavy. I thought that I have some kind of Alzheimer's. I was scared. I was scared to leave the house. I was never able to be like in the moment, never ever. That's how bad my anxiety was. Like, I didn't then realize that it was like just it was the PAWS, like it was the brain doing the rewiring. But the memory problems are really, really common. But then the stomach issues. When you have anxiety, stomach issues are many times there, like constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux, stomach pain, bloating, cravings for sugar. Yes, all that I had. Now I can eat what I want. I can go restaurants. I don't do that a lot, but I can eat. I don't have stomach issues. Those are gone. Thank God for that. And I can say I had a lot of these. And these started when the PAWS started. So that's how I know it's all because of the quitting caffeine. Yes, so heart and circulatory system. Heart palpitations, feeling like you having a heart attack. This is very common. Like when you feel that you have a panic attack, it can feel like you are having a heart attack. That's I did have a lot. Cold fingers or feet. We know also that caffeine affects the blood flow. So like cold fingers and feet are also very common. Anxiety also can do that. Pins and needles sensations. I had all those like weird pins and needles, but I also had those in my 35-month bad wave when I started to have like when anxiety came back. I started to have those pins and needles feelings in my in my like head and all over my body. So those are normal too. Weakness, like just feeling very weak. Sometimes I felt so weak that even putting clothes on was just like, I just felt, how can I feel this fatigue? Like, this is not normal, feel this fatigue. Like, I was always fatigued, always just so weak and fatigued. My legs were so weak. Tremoring. Sometimes I did tremor, like even just, start to tremor, like anxiety can do that. That's nothing dangerous. I think it's part of this, like when our body is really like releasing trying to release the stress, like kind of that TRE, what I have been speaking about. But body does that even naturally for many people in this journey, that they just shake or tremor. Heavy arms and legs. Oh my goodness, guys, heavy arms and legs. It was so like difficult to understand that. Before I was, so fast. Everything was happening so fast. Before this, I was always like ready to go and do, and then, oh my goodness, how heavy I felt, and my arms and legs just felt so heavy, and I felt like 100-year-old woman, seriously. Okay, but those did go away also. Also, everything goes away, guys. Isn't that amazing how our body heals and our brain rewires? Skin and physical sensations. Skin rashes. That was one of the things that I had really, really lot in the beginning, especially like just skin itching, and I also felt like acne. Now my skin is cleared. I don't have really any skin problems. Even I don't use anything my skin anymore. I haven't done that in a year. I just like water, and that's about it. It's so easy. Caffeine is really causing a lot of skin problems to people. It's like, because it's like dehydrates you and it stops the blood flow, it reduces the blood flow in the brain, it can cause you a like black under eye bags like that I had when I was using caffeine, and those did go away in this journey. So that's really good thing for many people. When they stop using caffeine, they also start to like notice that their skin can be clearing up. But yeah, anxiety does all this stuff. Neck pain was really hard to me. I don't lie, because it was really hard to me having all the time, every morning, my neck was always tight. I was always like this. The neck pain was there all the time, on and off. Sometimes it lifted, but sometimes I was just like so terrified, so frustrated with the pain. So here it is, the restless legs that I was speaking. Also the akathisia. The akathisia, I think from some benzo people, it can be more known term than the caffeine quitters, but we also do experience that, the caffeine quitters, in this journey. So basically like that you have to like move your legs, or you cannot be still or calm. In the beginning, in my first year, I had a lot of that I just have to kept moving. I felt that I have so much that adrenaline and noradrenaline and cortisol, because my, like, you know, the stress hormones was there all the time, like over the roof, because of the anxiety. I felt that I just had to walk. I did do a lot of walking, and same time I also felt weak. It was weird feeling that same time you are like a wire tired. Like I felt that I cannot stop. I felt like panicky, and you know that I have to move, but at the same time I also felt like exhausted. So it is like the fight or flight freeze, like I have been speaking about. It's all about that stress response. So your body is just kind of trying to keep you safe. That's what the body does, but it's of course it doesn't feel nice when your nervous system is misfiring, when your brain and body is recovering. And of course, yeah, jelly legs. So sleep and energy, insomnia. Insomnia can be one of the hardest symptoms what comes to trying to survive in your daily life, because like we all know, if we have insomnia, like for me it was like on and off all this journey, and I have some better like months somewhere in my journey when my sleep was a little bit better, but I always did wake up in the night time, and many times I did wake up with anxiousness, with panic attacks, with night terrors, like meaning that I did wake up feeling like panicky. And yeah, of course it affects when you have insomnia and you don't never feel that you are waking up feeling rested. Now I feel that when I wake up, I actually feel that I'm rested. I feel that I'm rested and I'm recovered, but in during those years, it was just hard what comes to insomnia. That can also be like very individual, like how people will like deal with insomnia. Some people have that all the way up till the end. Some people have more or less. And also if you are like watching this and you have quit, for example, benzos, it can depend also your drug of choice. But these are like my caffeine quitting symptoms, and I also haven't used any mind-altering drugs, any other during this, and I was never addicted in any other drug than caffeine. Yeah, and that night awakening, it was really frustrating. Like what comes to if I should have travel somewhere, it was just impossible, because even here in my home, it was so hard what did come to sleeping. Tiredness and fatigue, of course, were there. They were there all day, every day, on and off, like I said. But fatigue, for me, fatigue was really hard, and I remember I was so disappointed when I heard that some people are able to work out hard, because I wasn't, and I seriously thought that there was something wrong with me, because like, you know, I didn't understand that. But now I understand completely that I shouldn't have even tried in the beginning to exercise hard because it just did stress my body. It just did stress my body. So please take it easy and listen to your body. Now, if you experience these PAWS, it's not the time to you to try to make some kind of like, I don't know, records. Like, it's just good to listen to the body and let the body heal its own time. Your energy will come back. Your energy will come back. Your body and brain, it just have to learn to function without caffeine. It have to do those changes back to normal so it can learn to function without caffeine and learn that food gives you energy and then it's pretty much like amazing when we start to feel normal and our body just start to normally feel energized. And if we have been using caffeine, like many of us, like since childhood, we never kind of felt normal in that sense. Like we always had the caffeine in our bloodstream, and that's how we did adapt to that drug. Not good thing. And I always say that because there are always those naysayers, and they say, I can drink as much as caffeine I want and I'm not affected. Like, well, do that then. I'm not using any time to argue. Like, everybody can do that, whatever. But I just say that this, for me, it was like something that really affected to my brain and my body, and without knowing. And like, if you have been reading the book called Caffeine Blues, which I really recommend if you haven't done it yet, Stephen Cherniske says that, and there are a lot of studies about that too, that the long-term stress, what comes to cortisol when it's like high, long time, it affects your personality. So when you have high cortisol and if you have using caffeine like years, it can change your personality without you noticing it. You cannot notice it necessarily. It does that with time very slowly. And there is also stage 1 and stage 2 what comes to caffeineism. So if you are in the stage 1, let's say that you haven't used that so much, you can still be in that dopamine high phase that you just are running around and you have those dopamine spikes but then slowly your body and brain you have to adapt to that, and then the problems usually start to come later, and people doesn't necessarily know that those problems are because of their caffeine use, because they can just think that, oh, it's just my old age, or oh, this is just like I'm getting old, or maybe it's something else. But what comes to getting old with caffeine, my recommendation is that try to get rid of that the sooner than the later. So yes, we were there. Feeling disconnected, fatigued after exercise. Yes, like I said, I always felt that, and I was like, it was hard to me to kind of accept that it's hard to accept that you cannot like function like you used to were, especially if you were a lot of in the sport. Of course, if you never were in the sport or you never were in the that kind of stuff, then probably it doesn't bother you. But of course it bothers us when we cannot do the things that we used to do to cope our daily life. And like for me, the sport was always something that I was enjoying so much. But you just have to accept that's what the healing sometimes means. So lack of motivation was really big thing for me also. Like that is really common symptoms what comes to caffeine quitters. Even the people who doesn't experience PAWS and they just have like some weeks or some months. Some people have some months before and then they feel normal. So they also say, many people say that they have like lack of motivation in the beginning. So that's, of course, it's very normal, and what comes to also the stabilizing of the dopamine system. So don't worry about that. You get your motivation back. And if you are feeling off, and by that I mean that your brain just feels like, just off. It's normal. Extreme cold or hot sensations are very, very normal. And thirstiness all the time was one of the symptoms too that anxiety caused me. Wait a second, I try to reopen the chat because this does something. It seems that it's not working so good. I hope it works. Put something in the chat if you are there. Maybe some, something that I know that it worked. Okay, so the mental health and cognitive function. Yes. Feeling not like yourself or lacking identity. This was really hard, like not knowing, not feeling like now I know I'm the Anni. I know like who I am, and I know who I am. I know my personality, but that was like something that I was lacking in this journey, because I felt that the anxiety, like let's put it this way. Like think about that you have this ball. You have this ball, and inside of the ball there are you with your personality and what you like to do and how you see the world and all that. And then there is heavy blanket around you with anxiety symptoms when you just don't feel yourself, you are always so brain fogged or all these symptoms. So it doesn't mean that you are broken. First of all, it doesn't mean that you are broken at all. It just means that the anxiety is there so heavy that the real you are there, you don't go anywhere, you are there. It's just like feeling like you are trapped in some kind of cave, and sometimes you little bit come out of the cave and then you go back. And these are just my examples describing how I felt. So it can be that you have different experience of this, but I think some of you can relate really well. So that's why it can feel that it can just feel like, what's the point? It can just feel, what's the point living like this if I feel like trapped and life is not fun anymore and I'm not wanting to meet people and I can be normal in social situation and I cannot interact with people normally, all that. So all that I will like put kind of under this feeling not like yourself, lacking identity, but it will all come back. It just takes time. You are still there. You are not like any kind of broken. Vivid dreams and nightmares, really common. In the beginning, I have a lot of nightmares. Now I don't have any, pretty much, except like those I had like because I did find Jesus in my life, and I have started to experience a little bit like that kind of stuff, but that was different stuff, and I will do more videos about that. But now in this video, I'm focusing all what comes to this post-acute withdrawal and caffeine withdrawal symptoms, the symptoms that many people are going through in this journey, no matter what are their beliefs or religion or whatever. These are just like this is so like important to understand that this is what comes to brain healing, brain rewiring. And there is a good benzo coach that Dr. Jen, I have linked her videos too in my channel, and she have a really good article about that also, what comes to like religion and also lacking your own identity. She was writing so nicely about that, how many people, and she also including, she had really long benzo withdrawal journey before she felt normal like that. It is like normal that you felt, for example, that you are not connected yourself or not connected to God or not connected to anyone, and that doesn't mean that God have abandoned you, or that doesn't mean that you are not your, like the real you is not there. It just means that it's part of the healing. Sorry of my English. I'm thinking that my English is going really bad again. So don't worry, you will get back to normal. And yeah, the nightmares, normal. It's just like, because anxiety also that can happen a lot. Suicidal thoughts, I had those two in the beginning. It was a lot. Because I wasn't any kind of suicidal place before this started. No, I wasn't any. I was very like active in my daily life and very much going and doing stuff. So even I did have intrusive thoughts before this, but I wasn't suicidal. So when I started to go this through this journey and I have so bad anxiety, it was really hard to deal with these suicidal thoughts. And that's why I also, when I support you, I just say that it's normal if you have them, but just remember that those thoughts are not something that you are. They are just thoughts. It's nothing to do with you. Those are just thoughts, like intrusive thoughts are just thoughts, like we cough or we sneeze or stuff. They are part of anxiety. They are because of anxiety does them, and they will go away. Depersonalization and derealization. So if somebody doesn't really know, like I was one of those that I didn't know. I was like, what is even this word depersonalization, derealization? Never ever have had that. Never ever. Not even in caffeine. And I was heavy user of caffeine. Like I said, like 5 cups a day, more or less, and other caffeine sources. And my cup was really big. So what comes to amount, I was like, oh, I don't even want to think about it, but over 1,000 milligrams for sure. But anyway, a day. But anyway, depersonalization and derealization did hit me really hard in this journey. So it can feel, the depersonalization, that you are not really connected to your own body. It's also a symptom of anxiety because your nervous system is misfiring. You can feel that you are not yourself. Then the derealization can be that these are just my examples, like how I felt it, like the world can feel like dreamy or foggy. It can be really hard to be in the world, because not your brain is okay. This is the best way I think to say is this: my brain was never clear. My brain vision was never like clear and sharp. Now it's clear, but it never was clear and sharp. Like that's the depersonalization, derealization, like almost like living in some kind of another like world. Intrusive thoughts. This is actually, guys, one symptom that some people have only this pretty much. They don't have all. Some people, when they go through this, they don't have all these others necessarily. It can be like that. Some people only have a few anxiety symptoms, but when they do, they are really heavy. So intrusive thoughts can be any kind of thoughts that are stuck in your head. Like for me, it was a lot of like paranoid thinking that some foods are containing caffeine, that something bad happened to me, or it was sometimes I have intrusive thoughts that I have to jump onto the bridge or something. I don't want to say all my intrusive thoughts because I know that it can be triggering those some people who are going through this. So I just give you like this overall examples. But if you wanna like ask more about, then you can like message me in the Discord or email. But just in the overall intrusive thoughts, like the thoughts that are scary thoughts stuck in your head, or something bad happened to you or your family, or just I had also like for me it was more like paranoid. I was like paranoid that something contains caffeine. Like even I was sure that nothing didn't contain. Like I was very clean with my diet and I only ate basically meat and berries, and I always did check the labels, but it was just constant. Like my mind was just racing constantly. I was never in peace. Even when I was trying to like do something, I was always like you know the feeling when you are not like fully connected. That's like my intrusive thoughts was always like there, like disturbing my daily life. And that is very common, and the reason why I speak about these intrusive thoughts is so important, because people are messaging me all the time that, Anni, what kind of intrusive thoughts you had, and how long did you have them, and did you have this and that? Yes, I did. And other people have those too, and it's very normal. So I say it's stupid to say don't worry, because of course people are worrying in this journey because they cannot do anything else but worry. But I do say this: it will end. That is my promise when you go through this journey and you don't go back to drugs. Okei, let's see the chat. Terve Tuula. Ihan kuin minun elämästä. Vieläkin unettomuutta ja muuta. Kyllä, terve Tuula. Ja tää on valitettavaa, että se on tämmöistä. Tää on niinku ihan hurjaa tää, että kofeiini voi tämmöistä aiheuttaa, mutta ajan kanssa nämä oireet helpottaa. Mut tää on tosi hurja. Ja itekin kun mä niinku näitä luen jälkeenpäin, niin mulla oikein, mä en haluaisi edes muistella näitä, mutta se on tärkeää, että ihmiset saa tätä tukea. So I said to Tuula that even when I read this now, part of me doesn't wanna anymore to do this kind of videos. Part of me is now that Anni, just do the other videos, speak other stuff, because you are not going through this anymore. So that's why I think now when I do this video, I also do the same kind of video in Finnish where I will list my symptoms and speak about them. But then I don't think that I don't need to go through these anymore, because I have, here is all the symptoms and they really go away. So but now when I'm speaking about this, it doesn't scare me or anything, but it's just like, wow, did I really go through this? And that kind of, like, wow, did my brain really go through this? That kind of feeling. But then when you go through this, I know that you are constantly wanting to talk about them. When you go through this post-acute withdrawal, people, they want to speak about symptoms. So of course, because that's on their life. But when you go over this and you go over anxiety, you don't really want to speak about it anymore. Like you are focusing in the other stuff. And that's of course is very, very amazing and normal thing. Yeah, so the racing mind, very, very normal. Intense anxiety and depression. So, like I said, anxiety makes you always worry about the future, and depression is kind of like you are just like blah, and it can feel that you don't want to do anything, you're just feeling lazy and very tired. Sometimes the depression in this journey can it can feel also like really heavy tiredness, like you are just tired and not wanting to do stuff. If somebody asks you, oh, Anni, let's go to the movie, or Anni, do you wanna go fishing, I would say no. But now I'm like, okay, let's go movie, yeah. But like, even when I was going in this journey, even the going in the movie and all those thoughts about those sounds in the movie theater and all that stimulating, it would be too much for me. I would be having the stress response going high. So that's why it's so hard to other people understand. If they look of us, they look that, oh, you seem to look like normal. But when you are going through this inside of your head and your body, it's not normal. It's like I always say, invisible injury. Even it's not injury in that sense. It's reversible injury, which does heal with time. But in that sense, it is kind of injury that when you go through these symptoms, you cannot normally function in your daily life. And yeah. So please don't judge yourself, whatever you have to do when you go through this, and it is quite a journey. So then morning anxiety and panic attacks, especially in the beginning, it was really hard. Like I did wake up with the like panic attacks sometimes and heavy anxiousness. I remember that mornings was just like really, I was scared about mornings, and then it lifted a little bit during the day, and then the night it was bad again. But that also did go away with time. It for me it went like a slowly go away with that morning anxiety. That then it turned in some point. It's turned like when I did wake up, I was just like waking up with a blahness, like blah, like I didn't wake up with panic, or I didn't wake up with anxiety when the years go by, but I did wake up just feeling like what's the point feeling. So it didn't happen like that. I just went through this and then I was like, oh, I'm feeling happy. But like I said, now I'm in this point, like 4 years, 3 months, or this month it comes to 4 years, 4 months, but if I count to like specific day, like April 18th, 2020 was my quitting day. So anyway, I'm in this point that when I wake up, I actually feel rested. But I still notice that I want to sleep a lot because I can sleep. So the years of insomnia for me, I think I'm really recovering in my sleep. So of course, because I'm not in this point in any kind of job, so I let myself to sleep because I get sleep, and I feel that for me it's really important that I get sleep, and I'm so happy that I get the sleep. I don't know if I did this like to make sense for you, but okay. Mitäs Tuula sanoo? Mulla vaikeuttaa se, kun olen kertonut vieroituksesta vain yhdelle ihmiselle ja täällä en viitsi kertoa. Kyllä, eipä sitä oikein. Ymmärrän hyvin, se on tosi haastavaa, koska kun ei sitä kukaan muu oikein ymmärrä, niin se on tosi haastavaa. Mutta täällä minä olen, ja myös tonne Discordiin voi tulla sitten, jos haluaa sinne tulla. Niin. Yeah, this sometimes it can be really lonely journey for sure. Especially if our loved ones, they don't go. Like for my boyfriend, we did quit same time, but he was still using like stuff, like he was smoking and he's still smoking, so he didn't have the same kind of PAWS that I did. He had like depression and stuff, so it can be really hard to then understand that why some other people don't go through what we are going through. But we just have to remember that this we cannot do any other but focus in our own journey in this. We cannot start to preach to other people what they should do, and at least that is my own experience, that doesn't work like that. But I'm still happy that my boyfriend have been supporting me the best that he can. Like this, of course, if you are in a relationship, this can be really hard. In any means, people do divorce. Anything can happen. Like when the person cannot be normal, it of course it affects in the relationship. But just know that you do always the best you can, and nothing more. We don't have to try to do the best we can. We do. Anhedonia. Anhedonia is the feeling when you don't feel really nothing. So like there is like lack of joy or happiness. So anhedonia is basically the feeling really empty, feeling numb. And for me, I think that was also one of the scariest symptoms, in that sense that I would call myself kind of like happy person before this. Even with caffeine, I was not ever experienced anhedonia. I was just always wanted to do stuff and excited about things, and so it really hit me hard to even know that there is this kind of feeling existing, that anhedonia, and it was of course part of the brain healing. So I hope that you will get this reassurance if you feel that this is completely normal, and that too will go away with time. Okei, let's take the chat. Mitäs Tuula sanoo? Monet eivät tajuaisi, että vieroitus on pitkä ehdoton, kun media puhuu muuta. Kyllä. Kun katoin ihan hiljattain, niin oli taas jotain ihan älyttömiä kofeiiniuutisia, niin nyt mä päätin, että mä en nyt ihan hetkeen mä en edes rupea katsoa niitä, että mä nyt vaan keskityn tähän muuhun supporttiin, että yeah, it's really hard when the media is feeding us so much with other kind of information, false information, and also especially with what comes to caffeine. It's feeding constantly with people that caffeine is okay and it's even healthy for you, and there are health benefits for caffeine, and the more you drink, basically the more it improves your memory, and it will like stop you getting Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Even it's quite the sort of opposite. But that's why I think it's, yeah, don't go with those false news, guys. But you don't go, of course, when you go through this. Nobody even wants to watch them, because people do understand how bad caffeine is. So overly sensitive to stress is of course very common in this, and of course the benzo guys will experience that too. It's because our nervous system is, misfiring. So basically that can vary, but for me it was like every single thing that, like, okay, let's say that when we eat food, that is kind of the stress of the body. If you feel like exercise is the stress of the body, but when your nervous system works normally, it doesn't bother you. It's like the good kind of stress. Your body are able to like separate the that's not the real danger. You can recover fast for that, and you actually feel good because of the exercise, because the endorphins and that. But in this journey, I was just so sensitive to any kind of stress, what comes to like the exercise stress, or what did come to mental stress, the relationship. I couldn't stand like any kind of like arguments with my loved ones. I remember I had to go crying in the other room if I did end up like having fights, and many times it's just like, if I did have some argument with my boyfriend, it took me many hours to be able to even little calm myself. So that is really a big thing in this, the sensitivity to stress. So don't worry, guys, that is not gonna stay there forever. It's not. It actually means that the symptoms are meaning that your system is healing. But I know it can be really hard when you are living it. Then it's just you just go the days how you can. So overstressed with any activity. Yeah, that's I did explain already. And panic attacks. So panic attacks for me did happen a lot. They did happen in the beginning almost daily when I started to have PAWS, and then they did like kind of fade away, and then sometimes I did have panic attacks again. So they did kind of come and go too. So difficulty focusing and controlling your mind. Like I said, this was really big in my recovery. Always difficult to focus what other people was telling me, or if I had some kind of conversation with a friend, or I was speaking with phone with somebody, I was always on my head, and then I just kind of like, I was trying to act normally and trying to act that I'm interesting what they're saying, and trying to follow the conversation, but I just couldn't. Even that was when I did go through my heaviest years, it was like during this pandemic. like that's how I see it, like it was the pandemic, not true pandemic. I don't care what other people think, but anyway, so for me, even when I was like trying to watch some like videos that I thought would be interesting to and important to me to watch, I couldn't really follow the conversations, and I was really worried that my brain are damaged, because I felt that I'm somehow injured, and I felt like, how can I feel this dumb, like how can I cannot do even simple like simple stuff, that when you have to use your brain or remember stuff, and I didn't remember stuff, and I always felt that my brain was doing something else that I should have done. So that's part of the rewiring for sure. So don't worry. So emotional extremes or numbness and hopelessness. Those are the stuff that did follow me throughout this journey. So the extreme numbness, of course, started to fade away. I think that started to fade away. My 2.5 years, I started to feel better. So I was more motivated for sure. And then in that 35 months, I did have that extreme tsunami wave. And after that, I just started to feel better and better. It's like it slowly just started to feel better and better. But that extreme numbness was like really hard in those first 2 years. And of course, I had those moments when it's lifted. And then when I had the window, it felt like it lifted, and I felt the energy. I didn't feel heavy. I didn't feel heavy in my head, but then it always like, it always, sorry, my voice came back. So that too is normal. And the hopelessness, of course, the hopelessness, how I could describe I could describe the hopelessness is like feeling when you just feel like giving up. And like it's feeling like you feel like, is this gonna be forever? Is this gonna last forever? And even, I'm kind of positive person. I always try to keep up the hope and the good spirit, and like the the good. I always try to be like that, finding the positive stuff, even going through the hard times. That's something that I think it's gift from the God, or I don't know what it is, but it was really hard to find that hope in those times when your brain doesn't work, and you just think that, I would want to go to the work, and I would want to go to the study, and I was thinking that, am I ever gonna do that? Am I ever gonna able to even live normal life? And what if the other people have to take care of me like rest of my life? And I'm owe them, and all kind of thoughts started to come to my mind, because I didn't realize that it just takes a long time. So don't worry if you feel hopeless now. I will give you some hope, and you don't and this is like, there is always hope, but we don't actually even need hope. We just need time. So that was very reassuring thing that some people say to me, who have gone through this, that they say that no, it's not nothing that you need hope. You just need time and not going back to the drugs. So reproductive health, this, of course, I'm a girl, I'm a woman, so I had a really hard period, and I had a lot of anxiety all the time, but meaning that anxiety in that time that I had periods, I have a lot of period pains. I don't have periods pain anymore. I have severe symptoms during ovulation, a lot of those head symptoms and cramps, and this also is part of those hormones regulating themselves, like caffeine is affecting in all hormones, all neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are also those hormones. So that is very normal for women who go through this. Of course, if you are like a woman, premenopause or menopause woman, then it can be a little bit, of course, different what comes to this, but it is normal to have severe symptoms during periods and ovulation what comes to anxiety. Okei, let's take the chat. Mitäs Tuula? Monet eivät tajuaisi. Joo, ton mä luinkin pitkä ehdoton, kun media puhuu muuta. Olin yksi päivä yhden vanhan tutun kanssa syömässä ja teki pahaa, kun hän joi kahvia ja söi suklaajäätelöannoksen. Kyllä, joo, mulla oli ihan sama silloin tosi paljon sitä samaa, että mä en vaan niinku silloin pystynyt niinku olemaan edes samassa pöydässä, vaikka ihmiset oli niinku, että mitä ihmettä. Okay, I will tell English, like it can be even like really hard when you go through this kind of symptoms, like when I did have this heavy anxiety, and when I did go, like, try to go like out with some friend, or if my friend was having caffeine or coffee. Even one time I remembered I was in a train traveling, and then there was some guy seated into my, like, next to me, and he had a big cup of coffee and a steaming coffee, like we were sitting really close because the train was full, and I had a really heavy anxiety, then really heavy, like I had those panic attacks. And then the guy came with the caffeine, like steaming caffeine, and I was thinking that, oh my God, like I'm gonna die. And even now it can sound like funny. I don't care. Like I always just say that if we have guests, I say that you have to bring your own caffeine because I don't make coffee or anyone. I just don't. We don't have caffeine maker in our home. it's just like because it was my drug of choice. That's why it was bothering me. I wasn't bothered by somebody drinking alcohol, or not even when my boyfriend was smoking. Even I don't like to be close him when he's smoking, because I don't like to the smoke, the smell. But I wasn't bothered, because that wasn't my drug of choice, and my brain don't know anything about, like, my brain doesn't react like, oh, smoking, I want to smoke or anything. But what comes to caffeine, I was just like, but this all is normal when you, if you have the anxiety that you just don't want to deal with it. And hi, Yuppie Star. What Yuppie Star says? Hello, Annie. Is it normal that I have extremely bloated belly with burps? I wonder if it can still be so strong after a year, but I haven't had something like this never before quitting caffeine. Yes, it's completely normal. Very, very normal. And in that time frame too, I had that too. And actually, I was like sharing with some people that, like, because I did gain some weight in this journey only with my belly. It is like weird, because I never have in my life have had like problems with weight, or I have never been overweight. So I was like 55 kilos when I started this, and then of course in the beginning, when I have this shocking anxiety and I did lose my appetite, I did actually lose a little bit weight in the beginning. So my weight went a little bit in the beginning, I think like 50 or something. But then when the really anxiety hit me and the depression hit me, I started to gain weight. Like, actually it was around, like, I think a little bit before 1 year, or around 1 year. Around 1 year, I think, when I started to, yeah, it was around 1 year, because in my first year I didn't really have that, even in my pictures when I watched that. So I started to like gain belly fat, and it was weird because it didn't matter. Even I was trying to, like, I did eat really clean, and I didn't eat like too much. I have never that problem that before. I did never have that before. So it was like the cortisol belly that I had. And then I also have had that other people have had that too. So my weight went to like 55 kilos to the 60 kilos in those years. And I know that it doesn't sound so much, because, like, but we, if we have been used to be in some weight, like all my life I have been in pretty much the same weight. So for me it was just like, very frustrating to be like normally in other part of my body, but then having like belly fat, and it's not fun. Like, it's not fun. You try to do abs and you just like nothing work. Like, why don't I get like this muscle showing? And like, yeah, it's that is the symptom. That is the symptom. That is completely normal. Nothing to worry. It will go away. Like I said, that now my weight have, like, it slowly went back to the normal. I'm not 55 yet. I think I'm 57 now. But I haven't do like dieting or anything. My weight just have, like, the belly fat have just, like, normally went down when anxiety went down. If that makes sense. So anxiety can do the cortisol belly. In shortly said. And hey, Christopher, how is Christopher? Yes, I have had the belly weight gain since quitting also. Yes, so it is normal, and thank you for sharing that too, because I'm pretty sure that so many people are experiencing that, gaining weight. It can also be that in some, like I said, that I have 2 times that anxiety, that I did lose completely my appetite in the beginning when it was really bad, and then I did lose a weight. And then in my 35 tsunami wave, it also happened that in that first month when I did have really bad anxiety, I did lose my appetite, and then I also did lose some weight. But then I started to, like, it came back. Like, so it can be like, depending on the person. Some people, they in the beginning they can like lose the weight in the beginning of the first months, and then it can be like, if you have the long-term PAWS that many of us we have, that we just like gain some. But when your anxiety go away and your symptoms go away, your body will go back to normal, and that's how I really believe that it is for you too. So then the others like flu-like symptoms, coughing and mucus sore throat. So this is the interesting part of this, going through these symptoms of anxiety, that anxiety can actually cause you very much like the flu symptom. Like it can actually feel like the real flu, even it's anxiety, and it can make you that dry coughing like that. You just you have to all the time like and that's one thing. And it's not even fun. It wasn't even funny, but it was fun. One thing that I didn't know that anxiety can do. You make the cough like this, like you always have to look this, and then I did learn that that actually anxiety. And first I thought that is something else, because I thought that okay, maybe I'm sick, but then I noticed that it did suddenly go away. So that doesn't happen when you have normally like some kind of, let's say that you have food poisoning or some kind of other thing that your body is detoxing. You have these flu-like symptoms. They don't like necessarily suddenly go away. But these anxiety symptoms can come that sometimes you have just very dry cough, like you cough and the sore throat, and then suddenly in the next minute it can lift. So anxiety can do that. And anxiety can also cause you all kind of detox symptoms in this journey, like in the beginning I have a lot of that detox poo and yellow poo symptom, and I know it gross, you don't want to hear about that. That's the truth for many people, and I have all kind of like, you know, the stomach issues on and off in this journey, and detox symptoms. Like I said in the beginning, I have acne, I had a lot of pimples, and the caffeine poisons can come out through your skin and throughout the digestion and every kind of way that body is detoxing. It's gonna use in every single you know, the way it can do that. So it's very normal. And I also experienced that sometimes if I did do more exercise, the exercise did cost me more detox. So exercise did cause me more like those flu-like symptoms and the anxiety symptoms, detox symptoms. So that can be also of course. And the being all the time nighttime being, yeah, that was really huge for me. One very big symptom that I had in the beginning, it was something that I have never like thought that human being can even experience, waking up in the middle of the night like all the time, have to go in the bathroom. And if I had done some kind of exercise before that day, it was even worse. Like I remember then when I started to go to the gym and I still had a lot of anxiety, I remember that the next day or the day after that, I did have a lot of that night wakening, and I was always thirsty, very thirsty because of anxiety, and I had to pee many times. So that was also because of anxiety, and it's have gone away. So it's pretty amazing. So all these symptoms, like now I did show you, there's a lot of them, what I did experience. And it's not necessary that you will experience all of this. Remember, like I said, it's individual. But if you do, just know that I have left now over 4 years some tiredness. So it's have been gone pretty much for me. Like some people say to me that Anni, this is completely the 5 years thing. Like first I thought it is a 3 years thing, and then I heard some people say that it is the 4, and then they say when they're 4 they say it actually it's for 5 years thing. But what I heard, like the Kato also have said then to Mandy, what I heard that it's and in his videos he speaks about that too, that it took like long time before he did experience that joy. And my style of doing videos have been probably like different than what other people do. Like I just have wanted to update pretty like, you know, specifically, like that was just my style to, you know, but that this is my experience, and I know that other people have shared the same timeline with me. So I'm very confident and sure that my timeline being completely 100% is the 5 years, and then by that this sometimes having this tiredness will also disappear. But remember that I was also a heavy caffeine user since very little child, and my dosage was really high. So I don't want to come to here and say that, oh, this takes to you this and this long, because I have here so many stories that some people do heal faster, some people don't experience PAWS. Same with the benzo world, not everybody have PAWS. Some people have years or months, and that is individual. But just know that if you do have these symptoms and you are still in your first year, still having symptoms, second year, it is normal, and there is others going through this. And that's why I also invite you in my Discord if you want to read the other people going through the same stuff. So there are also people having these symptoms there. But now, in the chat, if you have any questions, or what is this doing? This my... Okay, nice. Okay, now, sorry about that. So, what, Nuns Linger, did I say it right? Hi, I drink 4 mugs of coffee per day and I want to reduce the amount and maybe even quit. And I'm talking about big ass mugs. Okay, so firstly, nice to see you, and really, really nice to hear that you are about to quit. That sounds really good. So then I will recommend you, of course, to do the tapering, slowly reducing, maybe starting to reduce like slowly your coffee intake, and then, or maybe if you wanna go to the decaf first, what is your way? I recommend you also to go, if you are Facebook, in Quitting Caffeine Facebook group. There is a lot of people who have done tapering, so there you can also have more advice for that. But very happy to hear that, and just keep doing that. I'm sure that you will start to feel better already soon. Because also many people, when they start to taper, they start to notice also positive changes pretty soon. So, and I also want to say that I don't want to scare any people about these PAWS, because, you know, of course it can sound scary when somebody hears that this kind of symptoms can happen. It's not any way of my purpose. It's just say that this happened to me. It's not gonna happen to everyone, but it is good to have support if it happens. So don't be scared, guys. Your journey is your journey. So do you have now any other questions what comes to symptoms or anything? Then I will soon end this live. It's been 1 hour and 7 minutes, I think. I'm always, when I start to do these English lives and I haven't speak a while, I just think that how it can be that my English is this bad again. But I hope that you did get something from this live, and that you didn't have to worry so much if you go through these symptoms. It is anxiety symptoms, and there is a good website, that anxietycenter.com. So that is the good website if you sometimes you are just going there and you are googling and you go those horror stories, and people do that when they are anxious. They just, they are just doom and gloom. So go that site and you can check, there's this much anxiety symptoms, and there are all those symptoms. There are anxiety, so you don't have to worry. I know that many people, they run to the doctors in this, and you do what you have to do, but it wasn't my way to go, because for me, I just didn't want to run to the doctors, because what doctors would have done to me, would just say, okay, Anni, I will just put you in this medication and this, and I just didn't want to do that. So, of course, if you go to the doctors, maybe you just check your, like, if you are scared, check your blood test, maybe just check your heart, or if that calms your mind. That's how I did that. I did check my blood test and heart, like only 2 times I went to the doctor in this. And one time I did go to the dentist, or 2 times, but I didn't have any cavity because I was even so scared to go to the dentist. Like, that was crazy. I was so scared to go to the dentist when I was anxiety. Then I remember I went to the dentist and I said that I just don't want anything other, but you just have to check my teeth that there are no cavities, and don't do anything if there is, because I have so much anxiety. And the dentist was like, what the? But I was like, I didn't have, but that's how scared I was. So I do understand if you are suffering with anxiety. I really know how it is. Your English is very understandable. Thank you, Christopher. You are always very, very supporting. Thank you. Well, it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear, because that's of course is very good that people can understand something that I'm speaking. What does Yuppistar say? I feel like my body and psyche are totally destroyed. It was just coffee and not heroin. This is incredible. The time to fix it all just so long and unfair. Yes, totally. It is so crazy. Even, and I share something that I have been seeing in this journey, just about like noticing, because of course there are many kind of drug quitters in this boat. Caffeine is the most hardest drug to quit for many people. And that is kind of crazy. Like, of course, the benzos are the own world. Benzo quitting can be really horrible. Those are really horrible drugs. I always say that I'm like thanking God that back in the days when I was a little time in benzos, I didn't end up in PAWS, but I wasn't them in long time. But many people who have been using benzos long time, they do experience horrible PAWS. Or even some people, even they haven't used so much. But anyway, people are quitting weed, people are quitting alcohol, people are quitting some other drugs. They seems to be, and cigarettes even, they don't, like, for me at least, nobody ever comes to me with these kind of symptoms. They are able to kind of, I don't say that they don't have symptoms. Maybe when they quit weed or cigarettes or alcohol, they can have symptoms of PAWS, but they are more able to function in their daily life, what I have been heard. So the caffeine is really underestimated drug in that sense. And of course, like I always said, it's good if you just can to quit all mind-altering drugs if you have been in a lot of drugs. But then it's also feel very unfair for many of us that we thought that we were never addicts. Like, we just thought that caffeine was good for us, or we just never even think about it. Like, we never even think about it. We were just using that like everybody else was using, like since childhood. And first with the chocolate and the Coke, which are the caffeine drugs for children, and then we have to deal with this. So it is really unfair, and now our world, it is really unfair. So, but you are doing the great thing, and I just want to say that this is not last forever, and at least for us, like, I really do believe that our older days will be so much better when we are not caffeinated. We don't have to suffer from that drug anymore. Like now, actually today I said to my boyfriend, I say that if I would have to start to go through now this journey from the day one and all what I went through, I don't know if I would have possible to do that, but it just, like, you just find the strength. It is the inside of you when you go through, it is the strength you to go through this. And remember that it's nothing bad is not gonna happen to you. Anything bad is not gonna happen to you. It is just very uncomfortable and very, like, like, it is so hard when you just don't able to live your normal life in that sense, that it's always like these symptoms of anxiety there, and feeling just that like, foggy and despair and numbness and anhedonic and depression and what all of these, but those will go away. So now I'm gonna just end up this live if you don't have any questions, and in this Sunday I will start my support group in Discord. Like, it will be like what is the clock? well, I will put the time there, and I will translate the time in different time zones. I have to probably use some kind of time zone translator or something, but I will put there in announcement what time I will start in Sundays the group. So there is the group when I'm gonna be in the voice chat. Like, you can just come there and talk if you want to talk. Like, you don't have to come with the camera. I don't always put the camera if I'm picking the berries or somewhere. It can be just that we just talk. And I also have been doing that talking stuff in Discord like many times, and it should work. Like, if you have something problem with Discord, it can be that sometimes our computers doesn't work or something. Then I don't know, because I don't have yet other like kind of support groups coming. But if you feel that you need sometimes to there, or then you can just write in the voice chat if you have some questions. Of course, you can write in Discord me to send private message if you need to ask something. I try to always answer, but that is the time when I'm there, if the people want to just jump in. Because I was thinking that it is good to have some kind of support group in weekly when people go through this, when it's always the same time, and the time, of course, it's the time when Americans also are in the wake, so that's why it's gonna be later in the evening here, and then you are also also in wake up there in the America. So I will put announcements on that when I'm gonna be there. So how difficult is this word to speak? But now I will wish you all a lovely evening, and just keep up the good work, and see you in my other lives. Thank you so much being there and doing this work. Yes, and Juppi Star, thank you so much, Joona, thank you. Ja Jaakko, heippa sinullekin. Ollaan lopettelemassa nyt, niin nähdään.